is happening in that courtroom. There is reporting coming back, so I want to get into it right now. Really interesting about what's happening. Let me bring in criminal defense attorneys Brian McMonigal and Bradford Cohen, attorneys to the stars. Great to have you, gentlemen. So let me tell you about what is happening right now. So Sean Combs' attorney, Alexandra Shapiro, is having a back and forth with Judge Subramanian. I'm going to read everybody the back and forth. So first, defense attorney Shapiro says, we cited the Trump case. Defendants have greater rights to speak than their lawyers. An Instagram post, as well as I don't know if I can, and then the judge says his communications from the MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center. Shapiro says he says the prosecution is motivated by racism. So let me just be clear about this. There's a conversation, there's a discussion about what was he saying, maybe on telephone calls to other people while he's been locked up at the MDC. The other question is, was he orchestrating a social media campaign using his family to post things online that might potentially influence a jury? So keeping that in mind, Ms. Shapiro, again, Sean Combs' lawyer, says, this is covered by the First Amendment. Messages they point to are not instructions to lie. There is a barrage of negative media coverage. He has a right to respond to that. The judge asks, why not through counsel? Shapiro says, we're happy to do that. Shapiro says, but we're lawyers. It's not really what we do. Some of these recordings shows that he's telling people, just tell the truth, talk with my lawyer. And then the judge says, victim 3, you're saying the communications are fine? And Shapiro says, yes, same on witness 1 and witness 2. The judge says, what about the communications that are missing? Agnifilo, this is Mark Agnifilo, this is Sean Combs' other lawyer, says, witness 1 reached out to Mr. Combs' counsel and asked us for a lawyer. We didn't do anything along those lines because it was an odd request. I don't know the factual answer. The judge responded, how do you know not now? How do you know, or how do you not know, maybe? Oh, it's how did you not know? That's exactly, how did you not know? And Sean Combs' other lawyer, Tenny Garrigo, says, there was a message from Mr. Combs to witness 1. I'll like to give it to you under seal. Prosecutor Foster may know it does not give rise to the level of obstruction. I do not have the actual message. Brian, I'll start with you. A lot of back and forth here. It's about whether or not his communications are a form of obstruction. It's about whether or not him even initiating a social media campaign would be to improperly influence a jury. This all goes to the issue, is he a danger on the outside? Is he flouting the rules inside? He cannot be released outside. What are you taking away from this back and forth I went through?
Well, the fact that they're debating it is healthy for him. It sounds like our judge here is trying to give a real fair analysis to all this. And this is a collision between First Amendment rights, as far as I'm concerned, and some of the requirements under bail, if there should be bail given. You're not supposed to have contact with witnesses. You're certainly not supposed to intimidate witnesses, but you're also able to defend yourself and marshal a defense and speak your mind as a defendant. And judges always have a very difficult time trying to balance those two constitutional issues. And I think this judge is struggling with it because this is a man who's on trial for his life. His liberty's been taken away from him, and he's fighting back. And that would be something that one would expect of someone who's been accused of heinous crimes. So I think that today is probably, as I think you've described it, really the first opportunity for there to be a healthy debate on why he should be released.
And Bradford, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to that as well. I do want to let you know there was another update where Ms. Garagos, who again is one of Sean Combs' attorneys, says, my client obeys me. For example, on victim 3, he stopped using ASAP and other phone lines. The messages with witness 1 were pre-arrest. He obeys us. He came to New York. In the Bureau of Prisons, when I tell him not to do something, he does it. So in other words, if you have concerns about him flouting the rules, he will listen to us. We'll tell him what to do. What do you think?
I think that's an argument that I've often made, and I think a lot of defense attorneys make, in terms of that our clients will listen to us if we tell them what to do and what not to do. And in certain circumstances, you have clients that have not been in a situation like this before, where they're in custody, where they are getting a barrage of allegations against them. Some may have some basis of truth and some may not. and you've seen that over and over again in this case. There have been reports of different things that went on and different allegations against Sean Combs that they have then found out, oh, these are just rumors and they're not true. I think that it's not a bad thing when a PR company or even when a defendant takes it on himself to have family members talk about the good thing that he's done in the past and the charitable things that they've done in the past. When you have a case like this where they are just every day there's something that is coming out, something that is leaked by either the government or a party that's involved or someone that's interested in the case, where it is affecting, that could have affected a jury. I think that, that release of that Cassie tape, and I keep going back to that release of that Cassie tape, I think the tape was released because they knew that she was going to be somewhat blamed for the behavior that happened, that they would know that she would participate in these different things with different individuals, and they wanted to make sure that was cut off at the pass and essentially make her a victim and not a co-defendant. And I think that's why that tape was eventually leaked by whatever party that leaked that tape. A lot of not going back to that. No one's really discussed how that tape has come out, and I think it's an interesting thing. And especially when you have a judge that's interested in your story, and you have a prosecution that is interested in why he is making these, these PR moves on social media. I think it all comes back to that tape. And I think that's their strongest, quote unquote, strongest piece of evidence in terms of their star witness to say, hey, this guy's a bad guy. I do like the fact, and I will agree with Brian, that the fact that they're having a conversation, that the judge is engaging them, is always a good sign. Is it, the end all be all that he's going to grant him bond? I don't know. I think this is a tough hill to take. I think it's an uphill battle whenever you have an individual that's facing the type of time that they're facing and the type of allegations to get a bond. Certainly the bond package is pretty extensive in my opinion. A $50 million bond is nothing to sneeze about.
And to go into that, about one of the areas where I think Judge Subramanian seems to be receptive. He actually told prosecutors early this week, be prepared to talk about this. It's coming up right now, and Brian, I'll ask you about this. So this, Ms. Shapiro, who's Sean Combs' lawyer, says, I submit the charges in the Jeffries Abercrombie case are worse than here. They allege an international sex trafficking business. They were raped and forced to engage, and I'm not going to say, but in a certain kind of sex acts. And by the way, the argument here is, and this is what the Judge Subramanian said, is distinguish prosecution why it is Sean Combs, after putting forward a bail package, as we said, $50 million, 24/7 private security firm, limited visitors, visitor logs, no internet use, no phone use. Why is he denied bond when you have Mike Jeffries, the former head of Abercrombie & Fitch, who is just arrested and charged with sex trafficking? Why is he out on $10 million bail? And by the way, the prosecution responded earlier, and they had a back and forth about this. He's 80 years old. Sean Combs is 55 years old. Sean Combs is charged with racketeering. He's not charged with racketeering. Sean Combs has alleged instances of prior violent behavior, not the instance with Mike Jeffries. But here you're seeing, Brian, where they're saying, we actually think the Jeffries case is worse. What do you make of that?
Well, it's brilliant. And I think that's the road they have to travel because it's precedent. You're not supposed to have different rulings for like-minded cases. Disparity in treatment is always frowned upon in the federal courts. And here they have a significant public interest case where bail was set at $10 million by agreement. It wasn't debated over. The government agreed to it. Now we come over to Sean Puffy Combs' case, and they're objecting to 5 times that amount for someone who I don't believe has ever been convicted of a federal crime or a felony. I could be wrong about that. And they're putting restraints in place that make the previous bail package pale in comparison. So they're right to make this argument. It's precedent. It's precedent within that jurisdiction. And I think the judge is going to look hard at it. You've now got 2 rulings that have gone against him. So he's got to look at those rulings and those judges. But he's also got a situation where the government has agreed to bail in a situation that's, if it's not as bad, it's pretty darn close by accusation.
And look, I think they could, look, it's also a different court. This is a different, this is the Southern District of New York. That was the Eastern District of New York. But even you put that difference aside, this seems to be one of the more compelling arguments put forward by the defense. Bradford, we're also taking questions, by the way. So anybody who has questions about this case, submit them on YouTube. If you have questions about the hearing, submit them. We have this interesting question from Sahara Useri on YouTube. Why did Combs get a new judge to begin with? It's interesting, right? Because I believe we had a district court judge or a magistrate judge, then a district court judge, now Judge Arun Subramanian. Why do you see a reassignment of a case like this? Why is it now in the hands of Judge Arun Subramanian? Why do you see this happen, Bradford?
Well, on federal cases, we always appear to begin with in front of a magistrate. That's usually the first person who hears the case, if it's a bond issue and or if it's even a preliminary issue. A lot of times court judges will give magistrates the power to rule over different kind of motions to suppress and motions to dismiss. But we always go in front of a magistrate that's associated with the judge. And then generally you then go to the judge that's going to have your case. It just depends. Sometimes you go to a temporary judge until it gets assigned. A lot of times judges don't have time for the type of case that it is, or they might not have the schedule that will behoove a trial in a certain period of time. I believe that this trial is being set for April, and it might be the other judge that was assigned already has a case that's set for April. That's not uncommon. I don't see that as like unusual. We've seen that in many cases. I've had many cases where judges have changed at the beginning of the case. It's usually unlikely that at the end of the case that you have a judge that'll change once they've heard motions and once you've done discovery and things of that nature. But I don't find anything of that unusual. Magistrates are always common. You always go in front of a magistrate first, and those are usually randomly assigned. And then a judge is randomly assigned, and then another judge can take over at any time. It's not that big of a deal.
Let me break that down, right? Let's ride. When I got picked up on December 10th, 1993, and I stayed in federal custody until May 15th, 2020, right? When I first went down to Virginia, I got picked up in New York. They took me to MDC Brooklyn, MCC, same thing is where Diddy's at right now, right? Then they took me over to Holdesville as a holdover. I saw a judge when I was there at MDC in the courthouse. Then they, sent me back to MDC, and then a van came and they drove me from New York City down to Farrington in New Jersey, then Fort Dixon, New Jersey. And then we went to Baltimore to pick up some more people. Then we went to Alexandria, where they, went to pick up some more people. And then we went to Richmond, where they went to pick up some more people. And then we went down there to Suffolk, Virginia, which was next door to Norfolk, Virginia, Newport News, where I caught my case. Big round of applause to Newport News. Relax. So when I went down there to Newport News, it's crazy because they didn't have a federal building at that time because they wasn't charging nobody with federal charges because that was mostly a European neighborhood. So they wasn't charging federal charges, so they had no federal holdover, jail, or anything. Can you believe they took me in a post office? There was mail bags all around my feet, and I'm handcuffed and shackled with a black box on my wrist, so my wrist can't go like this past the handcuffs. The handcuffs let you go this far, and the black box keep you like this. And that's how they had me with my feet shackled and mail bags all around me. The dude came in. He sat on a little desk, and he pulled out the little gavel, and he just banged it. No bail, 2 days later, they take me over to Virginia Beach. Then they take me over to Norfolk, where they, officially open the indictment, and that's where I met my co-defendants. When I went over there to Norfolk, over on Granby Street, y'all in Norfolk know about Granby Street across the street from the Scope. That's where they bury us at. Well, that's where they start digging our grave, because all they did was bury us alive. Life plus 20 was being buried alive. That's the way I looked at it. I always stayed focused that I was trapped and this was a war on drugs. I never forgot that it was a war. Not that I was locked up for a drug charge, but that it was a war on drugs. Now, Diddy's fighting the same thing. Now, he's fighting a war on his sexual alleged addictions. Maybe he need, what they call that? Narcotics. What that? I know it's narcotics for drugs. So what they call it for sex? Sex Anonymous. You know what I mean? Y'all put in the comment, let me know what they call that. And could we please get these likes up, man? I don't want to start as, you know, these rat bastards flip-flop wearing and trolls like to say begging for likes. But yo, the Cash App flashes on the screen, is right there. Hit the icon at the Cash App. Make sure it was created in 2020. But don't even worry about that. Just hit the like button. That's all. Just hit the like button and let's keep it moving. But anyway, so when they brought me down there, I saw a magistrate. I like that. We just went up 10 likes. When they took me down there, I went to see what they called a magistrate judge. I saw the magistrate judge for my arraignment. After the arraignment, the next time I went to court for a pretrial hearing, then I had a different judge. The next time I went to court, I had a different judge. So it's nothing out the norm of them giving them different judges. But when you get a good judge like the one that he got that say, I'm not going to let the notes in that you violated his constitutional rights and shook down his cell, took his illegal material, which was his notes, and turned it over to the prosecutor, but you did not turn it over to the defense. So therefore, you're playing favorable to the defense. So therefore, we're not even going to use the notes, and I could throw the whole case out if I want, but the whole world will go in an uproar, and then they'll just bring it back anyway, so might as well move forward, is what they're saying and where they at. So y'all fully understand what we're saying. But they give you different judges. Then I wound up getting Judge Honorable Raymond Jackson assigned to my case, and that's who rocked the case all the way out. May we please get the likes up. Let me finish playing this video while y'all hit the likes.
And by the way, I wish we had cameras in the courtroom, but based purely on the arguments that we're seeing and have seen with Judge Subramanian, I feel confident to say this feels like a very fair, well-reasoned judge. The way he was pressing the prosecution, the way he's been pressing the defense, it's really something to take note of. And that's kind of the judge, that's exactly the kind of judge you want in these cases. There's a question that we have from Samian on YouTube. I'm curious, Jesse, why did the prosecutor not reference the R. Kelly trial? They might not have referenced it today, but it was in their filings. I think it was even in the very first bail filing. They referenced the R. Kelly case. They referenced the Jeffrey Epstein cases as why it would justify bail for Sean Combs. Here's another question. I'll throw this over to you, Brian, from Europes Hunar on YouTube. If Diddy gets out of bail, does that mean that he gets out immediately, like this hour?
It'll happen pretty quickly. He'll have to go back. Usually you have to go back to the detention center that you're being housed in. There's some paperwork that has to be done, but I would think it would happen pretty quickly. It would be tonight. Unless there's some other snafu that occurs in trying to get it done. But for a high-profile case like this, they'll move quickly on it. All the eyes of the world are watching it. I think it'll happen pretty quickly. It'll certainly happen, I think, sometime tonight, if he rules tonight. I mean, that's, some judges recognizing that there could be an appeal of this ruling will take the time to issue a written opinion. And that would be the only reason I would think this judge would hesitate before ruling in this case. He seems, as you've described it, to be a really fair-minded and thoughtful guy. That is his reputation. And some of those judges that are more thoughtful and more fair-minded issue written opinions, which he may do in this case.
We have another update from court.
All right. Before we do the update from court, let me break that down. Somebody asked me, what was that question that they asked? They asked if Diddy get... Yeah, Arm & Hammer asked the question, if he gets bail, does that necessarily mean that he's working with the feds? Hell no. That do not mean he's working with the feds. That means he's doing what he's supposed to do. If he was working with the feds, he wouldn't get no bail. All right? If he was working with the feds, he wouldn't get no bail. Let me get up here so y'all can see me. If Diddy was working with the feds, he wouldn't have to go through all this bail stuff that's going on right now. So as of right now, Diddy is not working with the feds. So, okay, right now he's fighting to get out of jail so he can put a case together to try and fight it before he decide if he's gonna work with the feds, plead guilty or whatever he gonna do. So that's where we at. All right. And when you get bail, you don't get out right away. You got to post a bail. You got to wait for the paperwork to go through. You got to wait for the bondsman to send over the paperwork. You got to send over the property. And the crazy thing about it, right? Could we ride? You know, I love doing this. Can I get a text of how many likes in the back or whatever is going on? You know, let's keep this thing moving. But Diddy is sitting there right now, and he's fighting for his life, and he want to fight for his life on the outside so he can have 24-hour access to, you know, his attorney, right? So can we get these likes up? But no, he's not telling. Text it to me, all right? Let's go. Let's play this video.
Ms. Shapiro, again, defense counsel for Sean Combs. While in Jeffrey's case, one defendant is 80 and the other is 71, Mr. Combs is 55. I hate to say it, it's not that young, because that was one of the things the prosecution said. Like, you're dealing with an 80-year-old. Yeah, you're dealing with an 80-year-old. You're dealing with an 80-year-old. He's 55. You know, he's much younger. He's more of a danger. The judge says the U.S. suggests he won't follow conditions. Shapiro says these conditions are more restrictive than in the prison. Again, I kind of laid out what some of the conditions are. Bradford, your thoughts?
I think the argument that one guy's 80 and one guy's 55 is, if I was a judge, I think that would fall on deaf ears. The 80-year-old might be more willing to do something crazy because he's 80. You know, it's like he only has so much time left. Anytime you give an 80-year-old is going to be a life sentence. So if the guy gets 5 years and he's 85 years old, that's not that young. So it's, the argument itself is not great about the age. I think the stronger argument is maybe that in the RICO charges, they're charging some sort of violent behavior. That's probably a stronger argument because the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO doesn't have a history of alleged violence or participation in violence. But the allegations of the sex trafficking are very, very, in my opinion, are worse for the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. And it's just, you know, it's funny that it just by happenstance, these cases happen together. If it didn't happen together, you'd have nothing to compare it to. You'd have to go back to a different sex trafficking case that someone didn't get bond. So it just so happened that this worked out for Sean Combs, where the Eastern District comes to an agreement on the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, and it works in his favor. I think that you have to lean very heavily on this guy could make a run for it at any time, right? It's not just that he's a danger, it's also that he's a flight risk, they were arguing. He could have made a run for it at any time. He has jets, he could have gone to Mexico, he could have gone anywhere, and he never did. He surrendered when he was supposed to surrender. In fact, they didn't even allow him to surrender. They picked him up at night at a hotel when they knew that they could have called him and he would have just surrendered in the morning. I think that it goes to show a lot of bias, obviously, on behalf of the U.S. Attorney's Office. And I think a judge like this judge, who used to be a clerk for really, really good judges and was in the commercial business world and kind of looks at things that way and looks at objectivity that way, I think was a real, real good thing for Sean Combs here, because a lot of other judges that have been kind of jaded by the criminal system might not give him as fair of a shake as this judge is. And this judge is fairly new to the bench. So I think that benefits Sean Combs as well.
Let me say this, right? Let me say this so y'all understand, right? I can't stand a rat bastard or flip-flop wearing in public troll, and definitely not a troll. So this is to all you trolls, right? Let me get my joint over here, right? So I can let y'all know. I gotta give y'all a real strong message, right? This is how I make my money, right? I make my money from YouTube and I make my money from selling my book. This is to the trolls. I don't want you to buy my book. I don't want you on my YouTube, because I don't understand how people could just sit there and look for pages to go on and say something crazy that have nothing to do with what's going on. You come on this gangster channel, I'm talking about you come on this gangster channel and you will be blocked. We don't have no second chances. We don't play none of that. So let's just get this thing straight and stop the games. All right, let's go back to this here.
It's interesting you say that because I want to read you the latest from court right now. Um, so the judge says, Mr. Agnifilo, where is the home he'd be in? So again, if you're talking about home confinement, Agnifilo says, I don't want to give the address, but it's on Star Island. There's a causeway. This is in Florida. This is Miami. There's a docks, but there's a dock, but there would be no boat. The judge responds, that's not going to work. We're in New York. Agnifilo says, give me a moment. He comes back and he says, there is an apartment on the Upper East Side. We have one available, 3 bedrooms. The judge says, where are the 24/7 security going to be? That Agnifilo says, would you like to speak to him or me? It's Patriot Security. They merged with Crisis 24. So, Brian, now, is this just the judge doing his full due diligence about understanding what bail would look like, or is this kind of potentially a sign of where he might be going? And by the way, we have another update. He says, Agnifilo says there'd be 2 security guards in the apartment and 1 downstairs, so a total of 3. No access to phones or the internet except for calls with counsel arranged by the security personnel. This is more restrictive than in the MDC. Brian.
I think he's leaning toward letting them out. The response to the judge, by the way, about jurisdiction is crucial. Most courts, no matter where you are, if they're going to release you, they're going to release you to that district. And so I was kind of surprised that the bail package didn't originally provide for that, because no one's going to let him go to Florida. But I think this judge is giving real serious consideration to letting him out. Think about it. All the headaches go away. We don't got to worry about the FDC. We don't got to worry about what's happening at the FDC. We don't have to worry about counsel complaining about the fact for the next 9 months that they don't have true access to discovery, that the defendant doesn't get discovery, that the defendant doesn't have the opportunity to defend himself with counsel. All those issues go away for you as a judge. He's not running anywhere. And if they're right, and he's foolish enough to engage in threatening behavior while he's out on bail, that will be the first piece of evidence they introduce at his trial. So I think the judge is a pretty smart guy, and I think he well realizes that the original bail package probably should have been something that they gave serious consideration to. You know, he's presumed innocent. You know, the presumption of innocence all of a sudden fades away when we talk about celebrities. But he's presumed innocent in this case, and bail is for people that are presumed innocent, and he is.
And from the prosecution's point of view, you know, in one hand, if he is let out, engages in obstruction, they can not only have the bond revoked, but gives them more evidence for potentially a superseding indictment, more evidence for at a trial. But the downside is they don't want to be in a position where witnesses are threatened or intimidated and don't cooperate with the government. So it's kind of a tricky situation here. We have an update here. Bradford, I'll go to you. Agnifilo says, Mr. Combs would avoid all contact with anyone who may be a witness. I think he has a right to do that, but I want to make it as easy for the court as possible. We are going to investigate thoroughly before the May 5th trial. He has a right to assist. Your thoughts?
I think that, like I said before, I think that, you know, every argument that they're making is falling on ears that are open instead of deaf ears. Whenever you're a defense attorney, and Brian knows this as well as I do, and you're representing a high-profile individual, sometimes there are preconceived notions, and the judge has kind of already made up their mind while you're arguing, and you can see it in their face. They might give you a you know, what seems to be a fair shake, but ultimately they have made up their mind. In this case, as the argument is progressing and his attorneys are adding on to the bail package that he's not going to have any contact with anybody, he's not going to have any phones. And a lot of times when I have clients, high-profile clients in federal or state court, and I offer 24-hour security, I usually hire ex-FBI, ex-DEA, you know, and I'm sure the company that he has is probably along those same lines that give credibility to the security that's going to be watching him and you know, making sure who's checking in and who's signing out and things of that nature. All those things add up in a judge's mind to assure them that they're doing everything possible to kind of stay out of the way and not get in trouble. I honestly do think, listening to what's going on, the judge is giving serious consideration to allowing him out on bond, which to me is a surprise, because a lot of times in federal court, you don't get that fair shake. You know, when you have these allegations and you're representing someone who's high profile, a lot of times these judges have made up their minds. I mean, we want to feel like every judge is fair. We want to feel that the judicial system is fair, but a lot of times that the judges have already made up their minds, and it's very difficult to get a bond on this case. And I think that his defense attorneys are doing an excellent job in putting together this bail package and explaining it to the judge, and coming up on, and often you find yourself doing this, coming up on the fly, where the judge says, hey, that's not going to work. Florida's not going to work. I need something else. And it's like, yeah, I got an apartment on, the Upper East Side. It's a 3-bedroom apartment we're going to put them in. That's not easy to do. And it is a hats off to his defense for coming up with those things on the fly and being able to modify their argument that way. And I honestly think when a judge starts asking questions like that, he's very strongly leaning towards granting a bond.
Well, it's good when you're a multimillionaire. You could just, where am I? Where's this case happening? Yeah, I got a property around the corner.
All right. That was a good one. Yo, check. Somebody just asked the question, if this is a RICO case, where's his co-defendants? Round of applause. Best question of the day. Best question of the day. Okay, listen, right? So y'all understand. The indictment is crap. The indictment was just used to get them off the street, to take our minds off the election. It worked. We wasn't worrying about the election. We was busy watching social media to see what was happening with Lil Durk, Diddy, Young Thug, and everything that don't have nothing to do with putting $1 in our pocket. But that's what we do, and that's why they gave us this foolery called social media to distract us from the real world. There's no co-defendants, because that indictment is not what they're going to take him to trial on. I'm telling you, I put my life on it. I put my freedom on it. I go back to jail for another life sentence and don't even want to get out in 26 years if I'm wrong. They're going to, and I'm stamping it. This is a man that did 26 years in federal prison, say, send me back if I'm wrong, because I know how these people play. That's why you come here to a gangster channel, because I'm telling you how they play. They're going to give them a superseding indictment. A superseding indictment is another indictment that supersedes the previous indictment. That means it takes the place of the previous indictment. In that indictment, they're going to list names of everything. This indictment don't even have anything. To be honest, if I was Diddy's lawyer, I would attack the indictment and say that he should be out on that, because he have a right to know who his accusers are. They're not even telling him who his accusers are, or who his co-defendants is, or whoever. Hit them like buttons. Y'all getting too much. We got 2,300 people in the back, 278 likes in 36 minutes. Could we get this up, or should I just tap out? I ain't got a problem with going on with my Friday, because New York City is waiting for me. But I wanted to give y'all this content. So if y'all want it, I'm just asking you respectfully. As the rat bastards say, you can flip me asking respectfully for likes to me begging for likes. I understand what scumbags do. It's understood. So you can't get under my skin, because I know how you are now. When I first came home, let me ride. When I first came home, I couldn't fathom somebody saying some of the negative, derogatory things that they say to each other on YouTube without someone getting unalived. So when somebody go on YouTube and call somebody a rat, you know how serious that is? And that's why I wanted to clear that up, that because Diddy's going for bail don't make him a rat. Yet. Because you don't know what no man is going to do when that pressure comes. Right now, he feel his bag is big enough and he can fight it, but if they start dumping evidence and dumping videos and dumping audio and dumping affidavits, you know what I mean, and dumping pictures, now we're going to see if his balls is big enough. Now we're going to see if he can really plant his feet 10 toes down. And that's how this thing go. That's why I say don't get involved in the street. And before I start on with the new update from Jesse Weber, I want to make sure that y'all check this out so y'all could understand what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we do what we do over here at Unique Mecca Audio. We don't do it for views. We don't do it for likes. We do it to reach the youth.
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique. You know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, you know, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, you know, if, you know, should be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca Audio, I feel it, and I, like, to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight, because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe, and it just took my mind way off of that. Way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like, you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All right.
Love. Hey, what's going
All right. So we got a question. Now, what's the question? Let's get that question right. What is this question? What would keep Diddy from directing his family or friends that come to visit him from directing them to, let me say the question. I heard you. I got somebody in my ear that just want to talk. Let me say it in my way. I hear what they're saying. We know what the comment is. They can read the comment. They want to know what would stop Diddy from getting the people that come to see him to go out and body somebody for him. Is that the question? Okay, let me say it my way. This is a gangster channel, all right? Relax. Now, what would stop Diddy from telling his son, yo, dude over here getting ready to go testify, go hire somebody, go do something to go stuff? Any of that could happen. And they know that. And all of this is what you call the norm in the system. Because what do they say? Snitches get stitches. Y'all forgot about that because you learned Twitter fingers. You know what I mean? You learned Twitter fingers. So that's where you at right now. But we trying to get off of that and just trying to let you know. Nothing was stopping from doing that, but you can't stop him from, you know what I mean, getting visits, because that's it's a privilege, but it's a privilege you have until you violate it. So they have to say that Diddy violated getting visits because he's been trying to tamper with witnesses on the phone. He's been trying to, you know, intimidate people. So therefore, if he gets his people up here to visit him, he might send them out. And DeWitt Gilmore, I'm sorry, I don't see your thing no more, but I appreciate the super chat for the commissary donation. You know, DeWitt Gilmore, I remember the name, but I was looking for it, but I didn't see it. But it is what it is. I want to tell you that I appreciate all the super chats. The Cash App that was just on the screen. I appreciate you all following me at Unique Mecca Audio. That's on the screen above Jesse Weber's head. And my Cash App is there again. Hit the icon. I'm not tripping on the Cash App. All I'm asking right now is for you to hit that like button and go to Unique Mecca Audio and subscribe. If you want to remember what it looked like, because some people like to, some people like to just, what they call it, they like to see it so that they can remember it, right? So we're going to let you see it so that you could remember it and know that we over at Unique Mecca Audio. Excuse me. See, I even said it wrong. That's why we at Mecca Audio. Mecca Audio TV, all right? And I want to thank, who's this? Broadway. Broadway just sent me a Cash App. That's appreciated. You know what I mean? From Broadway. Thank you, Broadway. You know, but that's how we is. And then we got another Cash App from Calbert Malone, appreciated. Rochelle Dinkins, you know, appreciate all the Cash App, all the love. And that's what this is about. Let's get back to Jesse Weber.
Let me ask you this. So this was brought out by the prosecutors earlier on where they said, okay, want to talk about the security team? So they say, because the judge asked, what are we talking about? They said, what type of security team? He's suggesting a co-conspirator, one whose phone was taken only the day before. The second suggestion, was a defense investigator in this case. That investigator has been out contacting witnesses. Essentially, they work for him. So the reason I bring that up is because the judge just said the government is saying Mr. Combs would be paying these people. It comes down to trust. Mark Agnifilo, again, Sean Combs' defense counsel, says it's a different relationship. There are professionals that are only going to be in his life for 8 months. It's a high-profile case. He goes on to say he's been in jail 66 days without a laptop. He only got one a few hours ago. What is unique here is to have waited 9 weeks to get a laptop into the MDC. The judge says the solution is for you to come to me. We can call these hearings, which get things done. Okay, so that's a separate issue about what the resources he has. The question, of course, Brian, is can you trust the security team? Prosecutors say, A, they have the connections to him, but B, even if they didn't, he has a way to compromise people. If he's in prison, if he's in jail right now at the MDC and he's using inmates' PAC numbers to make phone calls, that's the question. Can we trust the security team? What do you make of that?
Oh, I had the mute on. All right, my bag, man. I'm just frustrated, man, because I mean, the numbers ain't even changed on my text, how much in the back of the front. So I'm like lost. And to me, this stuff is simple that I'm asking for. I just want to. I have someone in the back that could see exactly how many numbers is watching, how many likes, where the likes in the front and the viewers in the front is always slower than in the back. So I asked them to tell me what's in the back. You understand? So we got 400 likes in the back. Now they can hear me, so they doing what they need to do, right? So everybody uses somebody's PAC number. This is the currency in jail. The same way we have dollar bills out here, and we got Chase card, PayPal, and all that. Stamps is our currency. So you could buy someone's phone time for 2 of these. 2 books of stamps. And you buy somebody's 300 minutes for the month because they don't have nobody to call on the outside and they don't even use the phone. So you pay them for the thing. It's an innocent crime. Really, it's like a 300 series crime. We got almost 3,000 people in the house and only 400 likes. Could we get these likes up? That's why I haven't really been riding. Giving my stories like I know y'all want them, because I'm having trouble just getting a like. But yet we got 3,000 people watching, so we know you like it, and I thank you. I like you watching. But just hit the like button. That's not hard, man. It's free. Let me play this back, because this frustrates me. You get on YouTube, they complain you ask for, a cash app. They complain if you ask for a like, And they tell you don't got to do that. But then people just sit here and get engulfed in the commentary and think that they don't need to show their appreciation. And I'm showing my appreciation. The podcasters are showing their appreciation by getting in front of the camera and giving you this content. And I think that it's not asking too much to ask for a like. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. I mean, I don't understand. I've been gone 26 years, so all this is new to me. So I don't know if people normally just come to just look and don't say nothing when they know that hitting a like would throw the person in the algorithm to get their, message out there further. That's the purpose of the like. It's not just to like it. The more likes you get, the more they put it in the recommended in the browse feature. And that's what we asking for. Let me get back to this because I'm getting really frustrated right here, right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm getting frustrated. Matter of fact, hold up, man, before I even start that. Let me give you I feel like doing an intro. Let me do an intro. All right, so that's where we at. Let's see if I get my spirits back up, man, because I don't understand what's so hard to do. Hit a like button, and then you get these scumbags that say he begging for likes. You shouldn't have to beg for likes. Oh,
As my brilliant colleague just pointed out, the way to go would be to make sure that you've explained to the court that you've got a team that is beyond reproach. And I'd be a little stunned if that's not the case. They should have former FBI, former New York police, somebody that when the judge hears their bona fides, he's going to say, you know what, this is somebody who's got some intellectual honesty. This is somebody who's not going to risk their reputation for a payday. And so I would expect that if the judge does release him, he's going to want to see that. He's not going to want just somebody on this guy's payroll to be overseeing him, during these 9 months, I can assure you. So I'm surprised if that's not the case.
Right.
And knowing Mark, as I do, who's a preeminent lawyer, they'll make sure it is the case. If they've already provided a team, they'll get a better team. If that's an issue with the judge.
Let me ask you this, Brian.
And Jesse,
I'll ask you both this because this is a question that we got from one of our YouTubers, Floss Daily. Who pays the security company? If Diddy's paying it, is that a conflict? I'll allow either one of you to address that. If Bradford, you want to address that?
Sure, yeah, because I was going to add in, it's an absolutely great question. And what I do is to kind of take out the stench of any kind of impropriety that you think could go on. I figure out, okay, if it's 24-hour security for 8 months, it's going to be $250,000, $350,000, whatever it's going to be.
Hit that subscribe. Get
and
your
I instruct my client that we put that money in my trust account, and that or a company is hired to pay them separately from just the defendant. So they're not relying on the defendant to get a paycheck. It kind of takes that sting out. I mean, there's always going to be a sting of, hey, I'll give you an extra $1,000 if you do X, Y, Z. You can never kind of get rid of that kind of thing. But you can take out one of the links in the chain and say they're going to be getting their paycheck from either ADP or they're going to get the paycheck from my law firm, but they're not going to be relying on the defendant to get paid, and they can't be threatened like, hey, you're not getting a paycheck unless you let me use your phone. A lot of times that also helps in these situations where a judge is asking about, how is this going to work with this 24-hour security, and they're going to be behooving to him because he's the one who's paying it. I think it takes out one of those links, and it also benefits the court's decision. It eases their mind on that issue.
Brian, I'll give you an opportunity to respond to that, but we also have another update from court. Mark Agnifilo says, I have a whole presentation ready about the tape, but if you've got enough, I can save everyone 15 minutes. The judge says, I have reviewed it. Who is here from pretrial services? Pretrial services comes forward and says, we maintain conditions are insufficient. The judge says, have there been other cases with private guards? Pretrial services says, not that I'm aware. What do you think, Brian?
Happens all the time. Pretrial services, they do a great job, but, they're a government entity. And in a case like this, the default position always for pretrial is going to be detain. It's easier for them to do that. This judge knows that. One of the other things that came to mind while I was listening to Bradford was, I wonder if the government didn't do themselves a disservice by this untimely search of the cell.
Yeah.
Where they shook his cell down. They allegedly looked at privileged materials. That's a no-no. And I don't think this judge was all too pleased with it. And I think he started doing the math in this case and started thinking to himself, it may be easier for everybody, including the government and the prison officials, if we let this guy pay a lot of money for a private security firm to keep him from fleeing, and we'll get this case tried in a timely fashion. I won't be running into court every week or two with a complaint about discovery. He didn't get his computer. We've got so many terabytes to go over. We don't have the ability to defend. It puts so many issues into a case that can be easily resolved with agreeing to the bail package. So it was just another thought.
And
yeah, Brian's
Bradford,
100%.
Yeah,
correct.
Bradford, jump in on that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 100% correct. So, first of all, there's been cases in New York. I've had cases in New York where we've recommended private security and got granted private security. And around the country, when you look at these high-profile cases, there's been many, many cases where private security. One of them is NBA YoungBoy, who had a case in Louisiana. He had private security as part of his bail package in Utah.
All right, see, let me explain that to you so you know what's going on. What's going on is the prosecutor is saying, because the judge is being real fair. The judge asked them straight up, said, yo, is there any other cases where someone got bail and had private security, and then the prosecution, to, do what they do, trying to keep you in jail, they hit them with, not that I'm aware of. So they're not lying. They can say they're not aware of it, but they're lying, straight lying. Because just like these lawyers are saying, this happens all the time, right? This happens all the time. But it's Diddy's lawyers' responsibility to give the judges the cases where someone has gotten that type of information, like what they're looking for. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where we at. Just so you understand. There is cases, prosecution's going to say no because they want to keep him in jail. And the way it's looking, like Diddy may get bail today. If y'all want Diddy to get bail, put an emoji. Let me get it so you can see it. Put an emoji up there. Where's that? Give me an emoji, one of these. If Diddy should get bail. And if he shouldn't get bail, give me a thumbs down as well. All right? That's our little poll for the day. Do y'all want Diddy to get bail? Do you think he should get bail? Armacross got bail for the same charge. He wasn't charged with RICO because they're not trying to take his property. But they trying to take Diddy's property. Why do you think they trying to take Diddy's property? Let's keep it going. Like they said, even NBA YoungBoy, one of the biggest cases of our time right now. YoungBoy got all that money. He got his own security, his own everything, and he done got a bigger ranch over there riding horses in Utah. And, got caught up in, they're getting hungry. That's what we gonna call it.
Kodak, who I represented, he had a private security as part of his bail package. It's happened many, many times. And I think the number one takeaway that Brian is so right on is that this searching of his jail cell was so very stupid by the government, and they just can't help themselves. Like it's really sometimes, they can't help themselves. Even when they have cases that they feel are good, they want more.
Just to be fair, they said this sweep of the MDC was comprehensive. It wasn't just aimed at Sean Combs. His defense team says it was a pretext, but just to give you the other argument.
I have a very cheap bridge for sale for you. Listen,
thanks for the donation, Ryan Miles.
I think he was
Ryan Miles.
Target.
Thanks for the donation.
I find it very hard to believe that it wasn't. You had a specialist
Logical
that
thought.
was there.
Thanks
that
for the
normally
donation.
Is not there. He's taking pictures of items that have
now the rest
nothing
of y'all
to
just
do
hit that like
with
button.
what they're searching for, phones and drugs and things of that nature. I find that very hard to believe, and it just is shocking sometimes when you look at the government when they have so much power. They have so many assets that they can use to obtain guilty verdicts, and they want more. They always want more. And in this case, I think this bit them in the behind. I think that the only reason this judge is being so I don't want to say he's being so reasonable. The only reason that this judge has considered some of these arguments, I think, and they're not falling on deaf ears, is partly because of the prosecution's dream that this was just, this was something that was going to happen, and we didn't mean to get his notes. And even though we had his notes, we had a team, we put up a Chinese wall. They have every excuse in the book, but once you taint a case with something like that, it's very hard to regain a judge's trust. And I think that's why a lot of these questions are being asked of the prosecution. And in addition to this guy who got out, the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, I just think a lot of things came together for Sean Combs to give him this opportunity, and this is his best shot.
So we have another update from court where the prosecutor has now jumped in and said, consider witness one a participant in multiple freak-offs. Defendant continued to contact witness one after counsel was retained. The Instagram post was planned for a week using Contact Me ASAP and other inmates' codes. Really, really interesting there about that, basically suggesting that Sean Combs is engaging in obstruction. I wanted to ask you, we have a question from one of our viewers that I think is fascinating. And Brian, I'll throw it to you. Are there any additional bail conditions the judge could impose on Sean Combs? Could the judge place Sean Combs under the supervision of the Federal Probation Office?
You know, I have never seen that being done. I mean, you know, anything that the probation office could do would pale in comparison to what the defense has already submitted. You know, you put somebody on a bracelet. I mean, they don't have the resources to have.
Hey, yo, hold up, man. Hold up. Yo, listen, I'm looking for somebody to help me in the back, right? This is what you do in the back. You need a phone, you need 2 phones, or you need a laptop where you can let me know how many people is in the back, how many likes is in the back, and then I'll give you my password to my YouTube so you can respond to the people that's giving me these lovely comments and speaking, so it's not like I'm not speaking. The people that's helping me now, they telling me they can't just text me that is 3,000 in the building and then respond to a comment at the same time. If it's anybody out there that's ambidextrous that could do it, my number is 917-680-9091. Please, I need some help. All right, I need some help. Let's get back to this, man. It's not that hard, man. I come out of jail after 26 years and I'm running a whole fucking studio in front of me. And I asked somebody, just let me know how many people is in the back end to respond to the comments. And I gave them my password. And I'm going through all this unnecessary bullcrap. So if anybody want to help, my number is 917-680-9091. I need some help, man. I'm getting nothing over here.
24/7 guards in the U.S. Probation Department. More importantly, that's not their role. So, fair question. Why not have the feds protect him and police him while he's out? It's not the way the system works. And more importantly, I think to all of this is, you know, there has to be an ability for somebody to defend themselves. And what the prosecuting team seems to be relying on here is his efforts to really defend himself. He is looking for help. He is looking to try to
and I'm looking
line up
for help.
witnesses, to marshal a defense, to reach
Phone
out to
numbers
allies,
on the screen. You
to
want to
get
help.
friends and family to get on social media so he can start not winning the battle, but just try and making the landscape a little bit easier and more even. And so I don't know what this judge is going to do, but I would tell you constitutionally and legally, the easy thing to do would be to allow this bail package to be put in place. And the worst thing that could happen for the defendant would be if he spit in the face of the court once the court gave this to him.
Yeah. And by the way, that brings me to another point. So Bradford, we have an update from court. The question becomes what he was allegedly doing while at the MDC. We can have a back and forth about whether or not he was actually engaging in obstruction and what the contents of his messages were, versus was he just violating the Bureau of Prison rules. If they tell him not to make a phone call or they tell him not to do this, whatever the contents of it were, if he violates the rules, the idea is he violates the rules of the Bureau of Prison. What makes you think he won't violate the rules of his bail? The reason I say that is because the prosecutor said his family member said the lawyers say not to do it, and the defendant responds, "I don't care, it's my birthday." This is in regards presumably to that whole social media campaign about surrounding his birthday and the birthday video. So the idea would be he just didn't care, he violated the BOP rules. The judge said, Ms. Shapiro said sharing codes is common with other inmates and the conduct was covered by the First Amendment. The prosecutor says, the Bureau of Prisons handbook prohibits this. So it becomes a question, the content of what he was doing, Bradford, versus did he just straight up break the rules? And if he just straight up broke the rules, is that a concern for why he shouldn't be granted bail?
So the rules that he broke are broken on the daily basis. Like it's so idiotic when they just overshoot every time and say like, oh, it's three-way calling. He broke the rules. I don't even know how many times. I'm sure Brian has been through the same thing. I don't know how many times our clients call us with three-way calls and using someone else's PIN. And it's not that they want to discuss anything. It's all attorney-client privilege when they call us, unless it's a three-way call and there's someone else on the line, then it's not. And I always let my clients know that. But a lot of times they'll use other people's PINs for different reasons. Like even when they call me from a different PIN, it's because they feel like the government's still spying on a discussion between them and their lawyer. And they could be right. It's not like they're wrong. And a lot of times, or they want to call, they're married and they want to call their girlfriend. So they use, one of the other guy's PIN numbers. It's so commonly done that I don't even consider it a flagrant violation of the rules. I don't even know if they give shots, and what a shot is they give them some sort of a warning or some sort of pink slip for using someone else's. I don't even know if they do that anymore because they're more concerned with the drugs and the cell phones and things that are snuck into the jail. This is such a minor violation that the government here is saying is such a massive violation that unless they can really tie it up with that he's doing it to contact these witnesses and threatening witnesses, if the judge has real life experience, which I'm sure this judge does, he's going to look at that as a very minor violation of the jail rules. And I don't think that shows that he's going to flagrantly do things if he's let out. I just don't think that's a good argument.
Well, here's the question. This is a question from Jasmine Milan on YouTube. I'll throw it.
All right, we're going to pause on Jasmine question right now, man. We're going to pause on Jasmine question. I got a caller called in. Tell them who you are, where you calling from, and what are you trying to say, sis?
I'm calling from the Valley in California. I'm in Stanislaus County. I'm in California. Weather's not doing too well. But I watch your show every day. I'm very proud of what you do. I don't like the fact that nobody's trying to help you out. I'm not, into computers that well. So whatever I could do to help, I would love to help you. I don't like to see you get frustrated with the people because the people should be helping you.
Yeah, because I don't think it's so hard. Let me talk civilized. I'm asking somebody, you got YouTube and you got what they call YouTube Studio, right? Put your phone on mute for a minute because the dog in the back. You got something called YouTube Studio, and they tell you the numbers in the back. Hold up. Who this, man? Hey, y'all can't call with all this noise in the background. Tell them who you are and where you calling from. Oh, yo, go ahead, my bag. Yo, tell them where you are and where you calling from.
I'm calling from California.
Oh, okay.
In the cricket state of California.
Yeah. All right, but like I was saying, right? Listen, this is how simple this is. YouTube got what they call a studio in the back. So I need somebody to open up their laptop or the other phone and look into my YouTube Studio. When you look in my YouTube Studio, it'll show you how many people is on the live and how many people is liking it. And that count is different than in the front because in the front, it can't keep up with the back. So all I need them to do is tell me, like right now, they told me I got 3,825 people and 614 likes. Could I get these likes up first of all? And then now they got my PIN number. I'm telling my PIN number like I'm in prison with Diddy because I'm so frustrated. They got my PAC number, right? I'm still talking about prison because you see this is how I get frustrated when I deal with, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is just so stupid.
I want you to finish this video today. Don't get frustrated.
Yeah, it's like I can't do nothing. Every time I try and get these people to help me, it's like going back and forth, pulling teeth. You look at the numbers, you say 3,800 people in the back, and you got my PAC number, you respond to the people in the front. You know what I mean? That's texting, saying things that I can't stop to text to respond to. That's it.
I see 933 people that are watching.
That's what I'm saying. But in the back, it's 3,087 watching. So you see the big difference? Because if I don't see the numbers in the back, I'll just get off because I'm not going to waste my time with 1,000 people. You know what I mean? Because if y'all don't want the message, I don't know what to tell you.
Because you're frustrated.
Yeah.
Still want to know.
Yeah, that's why. Because see, that's why I do pre-recorded videos where I could just record the video on my own and upload it on my own and ain't got to depend on nobody because I'm an old hustler. If a person don't know how to move how I know how to move, then I don't need to deal with them. You know? Let me take this other call, sis. Text me a name and number. All right? Yeah, what's up? Who this?
Yeah, hey, what's up? Are you still live on your show?
Yes, I'm live on the show. And I done stopped the show because I can't get no help in the back. Go ahead. What's up, sis?
Oh, yeah. No, I just wanted to comment on the P. Diddy situation because I was calling from California too, and I heard one of your callers. So, yeah, I got a lot to say. So, can you put me on live or?
Yeah, you're on live now. They can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, I want to know is why nobody's talking about all the kids that he has violated and what charges are going to be brought up, criminal charges against him. Forget the little lawsuits, you know what I'm saying, out of criminal. We want him criminalized because he did some horrendous things to children when they was kids.
And if he did, he deserved to be criminalized to the fullest extent of the law and beyond. In my days, you just castrate a dude like that. You know what I mean? Just keeping it 100.
He need to be castrated, and he need to get gang raped his damn self and some more shit. You know? Yeah. But okay, I just wanted to say that. Like, what's up with the district attorney and why we haven't sought out more criminal charges as far as messing with these minors?
Because he's only one man, and by the time they done with these charges, they got him on up here. They're going to take everything he owned and they're going to throw him in Times Square in another 30 years when he's done doing his time so he can tap dance in front of an empty guitar case and ask for donations so they can say that Diddy's out there begging on 42nd Street.
Yeah,
that's the object.
These victims, like, I'm talking about like Justin B. You know, it's a lot of.
Yeah, I know, and I'm watching a lot of this, man. Like I said, I was gone 26 years, so I don't know. But like, you know, I'm a strong believer in a person is innocent until proven guilty. But it's a whole lot of allegations. They said something during my trial, what they call where there's smoke, there's fire. Sis, let me take this next call. Text me your info. Text me your name and info. Anybody call, text your name and info. All right, what's up? They hung up. Me call somebody from Georgia was calling. You know, I'm just trying to have a nice, relaxing show. That's why I had to stop the video because I can't get no help, man. Y'all, what up? I'm calling this person back. Who's this? Hello? Yeah, how you doing?
All right, this Mecca.
Yeah, this Mecca, you live on the air. Where you from and what you calling for?
You got me on there now. I'm calling this. Put me on the back and let me know if you need some help to be moderated. I see you frustrated.
Like a mother, man. Yo, listen, I'm bald-headed and losing my hair. You know?
I know, man. I tell you, I'm in Chicago.
Let
me call Mecca, yeah. Lock my number in. I'll help you with
text me your name and number. I could use all the help I could get because I'm telling you, this joint right here.
I'm Kiki. I'm going to text you now.
All right, thank you, babe.
Okay, I got you.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just really confused. I come home after 26 years. I done figured out how to work Streamlab, OBS, YouTube, my iPhone, and I asked somebody to just tell me how many people is in the back and respond to the comments in the front. And they got 2 phones and an iPad and a computer in the house. And they tell me they could only do one thing at a time. Now, you tell me if I need somebody like that. If I'm wrong, you tell me. You know, we got 4,000 in and we got 661 likes. Let's get these likes up. Let me play this tape and try and get back in. But before that, man, let me just do another intro. This is my man, Lou Sims. He wrote a book. Check out his intro. We're going to try and pick our spirits back up. I apologize to everybody that have to even stop to go through this, but I just had what they call a YouTube meltdown. You know what I mean? This is a YouTube meltdown. All right. So that was my man Lou Sims. Cop the book. The book, the QR code on there, it works. You can QR it just so you see it. Cop my man Lou Sims' book, man. It's official, brother. My brother, our brother. Now, I'm going to let y'all get the QR code so y'all can stop it and pause it. So I ain't going to play the whole joint. I'm just going to let you see the QR code so you can cop my man's book and represent. QR code right there. Screenshot that.
Keep it going, 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 keep it going.
All right, so let me go back to playing this. Like I said, I'm out of it right now.
To you, Brian, couldn't he just have his family members do all the things that he isn't allowed to do? That would be the question in terms of if he's out.
If he's out. Yeah, I mean, I think, we end up chasing our tails with some of the issues here. I mean, if he's out, he's going to do everything he can to defend himself. If he's in, he's going to do everything he can to defend himself. If he's in, he's got to jump through all these hoops to have contact with the people that are going to do everything they can for him to defend himself. Remove the hoops. Bradford's got it right. I think I got 4 three-way calls during this session, for God's sake. It's happening. There were probably 20 of them from this detention center while this was happening. It happens every day, and it goes back to that central thing that I keep thinking. This judge seems like a really brilliant guy. The headaches here are all driven by the fact that they've taken away his liberty before his trial. Right. All those headaches, every single one of them, put aside for the sake of argument the government's concern about threat, every one of those headaches that inure to the defendant in terms of constitutional protections go away.
Yeah.
All of the headaches for the court in policing this go away. They become somebody else's problem, and know well that if there's one issue, somebody goes sideways a little bit, somebody makes a phone call somewhere.
Right.
He's detained within 5 minutes of that incident. So the easy thing to do here, and I've been kind of, saying this for a month, is to let a guy have a $50 million bail package.
All right, see, let me explain to you what he's saying, right? Because like I said, I'm so frustrated, I'm not even paying attention to what is going on, right? So I apologize again, man. I apologize again. What he's saying is, you got a dude that's in there, he's using someone else's pack number. They do it all the time, right? Let me ride and tell you one with me. Let me tell you one with me. I used a Native American's phone because a lot of Native Americans don't even use the phone. You know what I mean? In the federal system, everybody know that. So we all buy their phone time. They only get 300 minutes a month. When I first came in the prison system, you got unlimited minutes a month back in 93, all the way up to about 99. You know what I mean? But I spent all that in ADX. So when I went in, we had unlimited minutes to get on the phone, meaning you could call and stay on the phone for 20 hours. Phone never cut off, And then Rayful Edmonds, he gave up the game on everything that was going on with the phone, and that just shut it down, and they changed everything up, and they wound up giving us 300 minutes, Hold on. Yo. Yeah.
I'm calling from South America, Guyana, Georgetown, Guyana. You're doing a big job at 116th Street West. Man, I was all back. So I know the procedure in the federal penitentiary, right? Mm-hmm. I think he's doing a fantastic job, homie, representing us from the inside. Mm-hmm. And what Puffy going through for those are basic thing, man.
Thank you.
That's basic, yo. That's very basic. That's like, jail walking on the street every day. Ain't nobody paying attention to that. It's like, jail walk on the street. Mm-hmm. That's how it's looked upon. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I wish something comes and street. He was in the video doing things. We all have these swabs. We still have some swabs, but I'm not doing it. Yeah. On the other side, the history of us in America, living in America, he has started political party. So I have to wonder why now? You know what I'm saying? Why now? This big hoopla about Puffy. However, if he is indeed guilty of those things, then we can't condone.
Exactly.
Right? But it is what it is. From behind the wall on the street, I'm on 116th Street. I'm now from Georgetown, Guyana. And you from GA. So because the Caribbean people, we Caribbean people, African Americans are one and they stand together in the struggle. The Caribbean with African Americans and Black Americans. Unique, fantastic job, bro.
All right, thank you, family. See, and that's what I'm saying, right? And you know, that's why I can't stand the rat bastards. My man told me to hit the gunshot after the bastards. That way he can hear me call him a rat bastard. All right? Now, this is where we at, right? What he's saying is, what that caller was saying, because the call was a little shaky, he called away from Guyana. I got people from all over the world. That's why I know I'm doing my thing, right? What he's saying is that the way it's looked upon to use someone's pack number to make a three-way call is equivalent to jaywalking on the street. But they making this big deal out of it with Puffy so they could turn public opinion against them. And like this brother said all the way from Guyana, that the island people, Caribbean people, we stand together with black people. Meaning we don't throw our own under the bus. Let the process play out. If he's guilty, then bang him. Then you're banging him before it even begin, where now they holding a whole bail hearing where a man trying to put up $50 million to get out of jail, and they telling him he made a three-way call. Listen, I'm going to show you how petty that charge is, right? Everybody in the jail make three-way calls. They couldn't stand me because they said I was doing too much in the jail. I'm hustling, I'm shaking bacon. I ain't reformed unique yet. You know what I mean? So I'm hustling in the jail. I'm selling everything for a nigga to get high. Excuse the language. You know what I mean? But I'm doing all of that. So they listening to my calls. And like they said, like this lawyer just said, they hear me say something. Like one day, right? Somebody called me and said they wanted to do an interview. I called someone, they said they wanted to do an interview on me. Right? And I was going to do a radio interview on a Friday night over the phone. They called me at 7:30. It take 30 minutes after each call before you get back on the call again. So I told them, all right, it's 7:30. I'm going to call you back at 8. At 7:35, they had me up there at the SIS office, man, at the lieutenant office, which is equivalent to the federal building. And they played the tape of me telling them, I'm going to call back in 30 minutes. He said, well, you're supposed to be calling back in 25 minutes, but I'm letting you know now if you get on the phone and do an interview on the phone without getting approval from us, you will be getting locked up and you will be getting an institutional report and you will lose your phone. 5 minutes after it happened. It took them taking the notes and his lawyer going and screaming for this to even come out. You do something wrong in the prison, they got people that monitor them phones that catch you instantly. But they making something as simple as a jaywalking. I'm not defending Diddy. I'm defending us that might wind up in the belly of the beast. That this is how crazy it is, and I'm telling you, don't go in there. They give you 300 minutes a month. That's 20 15-minute calls a month. And some clown, rat bastard, had the nerve to put in my comment, oh, unique. You don't get 300 minutes. You don't get 20-minute calls. I never said you get 20-minute calls. I said you get 3 20-minute calls. But they looking at just nitpicking anything because they just miserable. They ain't got a life and can't get a YouTube. Hold on. Hey, yo, Pete. Yeah, what up?
Oh man, I appreciate your show, man. I started watching your show like a month ago, and I like the way how you do it, man. You don't automatically prosecute somebody before, they had it there in court. So I appreciate that from you, brother.
Thank you, family. And could you believe that they say that I'm defending Diddy because I say let the man have his day in court like the rest of America under the Constitution?
Hey, dude, I wouldn't care what they say, man. I'm going to tell you something. This is how I feel, man. Before this all really, transpire, I like to speak to the youth in the streets, man, because a lot of folks that don't. And it seems like you've been through some things, and I've been around folks that have been some things, and I've seen some things, right? And the thing is, if you don't know the law, you're ignorant. That's what it all boils down to. And I ain't even figured that out until I started fixing my own credit. So if you don't know the law, you're ignorant. So the thing is with Diddy, I feel like you feel. And the thing is, I was telling these youngsters in the streets, I said, look, let me tell you something. I said, y'all can root, man, Diddy a nasty dude, Diddy this, Diddy that. I said, dude, y'all got to realize this is bigger than Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
This case right here is going to determine what's gonna happen to you in the future? And they're like, what you talking
Tell
about?
them
You
again.
sound ignorant. I said, dude, I said, you know, back in the day when they couldn't get you for, when the feds couldn't get you for anything else, the IRS got you.
Exactly.
Then
That's how they got Al Capone.
Yeah, and I said, like, for September 11th, then they came out, I think, what they call the Freedom Act. They could start listening to your conversation, coming in and tapping in your homes without no search procedure. Now, if you out here partying with these girls and you got money and you out there and you get a couple of witnesses saying that you did this, now they can really come get you. So I said, you know, about a month passed by in Pontotoc, Louisiana, I'm gonna send it to you. Now I've been working on a twig in these plants, chemical plants, oil refineries, and I had to get a security check by the federal government. And it's called TWIC. Just look it up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's under the Coast Guard and Homeland Security. I've never in my life, and I've seen people get their ass whooped. I done seen guns on these facilities. I've seen people get arrested. I done seen the feds come talk to people. I never ever in my life in the streets seen Homeland Security come in and do a drug bust.
It wasn't even a drug bust. It was a sex bust.
That's what I'm saying. This happened recently in my town.
Mm.
Homeland Security came in on a weed bus. So I want all young America to open their eyes, because these people is doing lynching right in front of our face. And then they're going to turn back and make laws that will be able to come lock you up out your mama house if you did it or not. This ain't nothing but a white sheet case that they used to do back in the day. What Diddy did, they make an example out of him to create laws to come get your kids. So if he right or wrong, we don't need to stand for it. Just like when that Mexican dude killed that brother, that young little kid down there in Florida, and all them white people went and raised that money to say that boy was innocent, he got out. We need to do the same thing, get behind Diddy, because guess what? My mama got killed. And see, Cassie, you know, when my mama got killed, I had to come to realization why it happened, because I was mad at that man for years. I grew up saying that I was going to kill that man when I got 18. And when I really got some common sense behind the whole deal, she stayed in that relationship because she wanted to be there. You understand? And I'm not, you know, Cassie stayed in this relationship for 10 years. Y'all hear nothing from her. Nothing. And we around here rooting. Man, come on, man. Let's be real, dog. Let's keep it real. It ain't got nothing to do with Diddy. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go. We got to look at the bigger picture when it comes to this. You did 26 years. My homeboy, this part-time too, just came home from doing a bunch of years on some bullshit. And one thing that I learned from that is these people will get you in a pickle to get other folks. So there's a lot of brothers out there with money, and it's hard to get them. If this trial goes through the way they want to, you around here partying in Vegas and flying women out, they gonna come get you. So, hey, you better be careful. That's all I gotta say, brother.
All right, family. Good looking. Yo, what up? Who this?
PCD, this Broadway from Brooklyn.
What up, Broadway? You're live. We're doing a live right now, so you know.
All right, okay. I'm just listening to some people calling in. I'm looking at the comments, people talking about Justin Bieber, these kids or whatever. I just want everybody to know that these things are just accusations, and they're trying to paint a picture of this man because they want to take him down. But I want people to know that all these accusations he's not being charged with. You see what I'm saying? I think it's real dangerous for people to be saying these things, you know, because the man is innocent until proven guilty.
Supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm not feeling it, man. You know, I don't think this man ever touched no kids or nothing like that, man. This man had some of the most beautiful women in the world, man. You know, I think it's just a case of he pissed the wrong person off, and they trying to get this man, they trying to take everything from him. You know what I'm saying? But I just want everybody to know, man, this man ain't been charged with none of these accusations that you've been hearing, all these spike baby oils and all that. If all that was true, he'd have been charged for all of that. You see what I'm saying? So get this man his just due in court. Let that man be free, because the government definitely trying to railroad him. You know, we know shakedowns is common in prison. You understand? But some shakedowns, like this one that they did to Diddy, was foul, unjust, and they need to free that man.
All right. Good looking on the call, family.
Peace.
All right. Yeah, you know, as you see, we answer the phone, man, and deal with the people. Let me see who this is. Desmond, Iowa was calling too. Yeah, I'm calming down a little bit, man, you know, because this is like some crazy crap to me, man. I don't understand how something so simple could be so complicated.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did I talk to you yet?
Yeah, you did, man. Could you talk to me, man? You told me to leave my information. You know, I just wanted you to know, man. You need some help, I'm there for you. I do this type of work, man. You do a great content. You need teamwork to make your stream work.
Thank
That's
you, my
the
brother.
bottom line.
Thank you. I'm doing everything on my own, and I got up to 122,000 subscribers, so I know I'm doing something right. And I get
you making noise
great calls,
quickly.
you know?
And right now, you just need the team, a confident team that you can build with, and you'll be one of them 1 million subscriber channels. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, because I had to go out and learn how to edit videos, because I used to send people a video to edit when I first came home. That's why I don't do interviews no more. You know, interviewing other people, because when you got to go get the video edited, you got to wait for somebody to do the work and send it back, and they take a week. Then I looked up a video on YouTube, and I seen that editing take but 5-10 minutes. It's just putting in what you want. So I said, let me learn how to do this myself and forget these. I'm paying them to edit this video. If there's any editors that want to donate their services to me, contact me. And if there's anybody listening to music out that got music out there, I got my joint hooked up, right? Let me show them, right? I'm gonna show you a little trick. I got my joint hooked up where I could play music in the background. You know what I mean? So anybody got some original music, I'm gonna play some music now while we talk. If anybody got original music that they feel would fit, you know, my voice, my style, my charisma, my accent, my energy, send it to me. If you're a rapper trying to come up, you want your music played, I got another channel, Mecca Audio TV. I will be putting the videos over there. Send me your videos if you want to get out. That other channel is going to be to promote you. You know what I mean? That's how I'm giving back. That's going to be to promote you. But
you make a noise with that, man. People going to feel you, man, because they see it ain't all about you. You trying to help the people right now.
You know?
I'm with it.
All right. Good looking, family.
Play that music, the ambiance music in the background. That's how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. So I need any producers that make beats. Send me original beats.
Non-copyrighted. Non-copyrighted, y'all. Make sure.
There you go. Non-copyrighted.
Get his props. He's putting you on, but make sure that you know he's able to get everything he got coming for doing it.
There you go. And any one of you rappers that want to make a new theme song, because right now we got the outro. Oh, we just riding on this joint. We got the outro right here that go like this.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
My man made this right here. So I need some rappers.
Out the can of 26, heat back on the strip.
You see what I'm saying? And then my music come back in. I got this whole thing set up, and I'm running all this by myself. And I just asked somebody to text me the numbers in the back. You know what I mean? And respond to the comments in the front that I can't respond to till I get off. And I want to thank Fallon Scarlett, you know what I mean, for the $50 super chat. Fallon Scarlett. If I'm saying, at least somebody respected the game is supposed to be sold, not told. Everybody wants something for nothing. I don't understand that. Everybody wants something for nothing. You're getting great content. All I ask you to do is hit the like button. Anybody can hear me now that didn't hit the like button yet. Can you please hit the like button? It's not that hard.
I found out about you. I'm over here on the West Coast, over here in the Northwest of Seattle, and I found out about you from somebody who's over there, spoke highly of your name, over there from the Bronx. I'm like, okay, you know, let's take them out. And this is the things that where this network and the internet has given us a chance to meet stand-up people like yourself and help promote, help, you know, share whatever it takes to help your platform grow. And in return, and I'm just like looking in like, you know, here's somebody who's been through the hard shit as far as being locked up is concerned, who can give you real insight,
Not no fake, not no narratives or anything like that. The stuff that's important right now, especially in cases dealing with Diddy, NBA YoungBoy and all the other young men who are going through this stuff. And we need real insight, not narratives, not fake news, all that, man. You keep doing your thing, Mecca.
I appreciate that. That's why I started doing the Remy Ma joint. I put a Remy Ma joint up on my other channel, and that joint got 50,000 views, And on that channel, I got 48% women watching that out of 2,000 people I got on that channel. That's why we need the numbers to go up. But then over here, out of 122,000 people, we only got 18% women. You know what I mean? So it's the women like the Remy Ma stuff, so that's why I've been doing it, so y'all know. I'm doing that to let the women know who I am, and I'm going to give them the game and the jewels and let them know how it is, because the main thing is I come home and you can't beep the horn of the female for her to stop. You can't even talk to her in public for her to stop. But if you DM her, she going to send you all types of pictures that you wouldn't show your mama. You know what I mean? But you can't pull up on the street and say, how you doing? My name is Unique. They curl their face up and walk away. But then here go dude that done borrowed my jewelry, my clothes, my car, and take a picture in front of it and put it up on social media and say, how you doing? I like the way you look. And now they want to respond to them that want to beat me on social media, but when they meet me in person, it's like, whoop. Let me get back to this show, family. My bag, I'm just riding, man. Yeah, text me your name and info and that you want to help with the moderating and all that, so I remember. All right, family. All right, peace. Let me turn this beat off, man, and get back to this right here, man. My bag, y'all. My bag. I'm
going to give you another question, Brian, because you know what? You're right. We've been beating the same kind of drum a little bit. I have another question for you from one of our viewers. Before I get to that, let me just give everybody an update about what's happening in court. Prosecutor says defendant has used at least 8 inmates' codes. He's bought them. The judge says they say Contact Me ASAP operates through TrueLinks, the Trust Fund Limited inmate computer system. The prosecutor says it's not permitted. In the Jeffries case, one is detained, and the judge said that's a foreign national. Okay, so making a little distinctions here. But I do have a different question for you, Brian, if I can find it, if I didn't lose it. This is from Latoya on YouTube. If he is convicted, Brian, and sentenced to prison, what happens with the civil lawsuits?
Well, I mean, the civil lawsuits may all at some point be indefensible. Once he's convicted, again, making sure all those civil lawsuits have some relationship to the charges here, to the extent they do, they become indefensible. There'll be a conviction. That conviction will be part and parcel of the evidence in the civil case. He'd have to be deposed. If he was deposed while his case is on appeal, he'd have to assert the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment is an admission in a civil case. Those cases, if they are related to this event and he is convicted, become indefensible.
All right, we have another.
All right, we got a caller. What's up, family? Where you calling from? Where you at? What's the question, topic, opinion?
What's going on, Unique? Peace to the God.
Peace. Knowledge.
Listen, knowledge be born. Listen, man, I'm from the Bronx, man. I'm living down here in Georgia right now. First of all, I just want to salute you, man. Hats off to you and everything that you're doing, man. You don't know how many lives you touched, man. And, man, you keep me going through some hard times, man. But I just wanted to chat in, man. You're saying, what they doing to Diddy, people got to realize, man, what goes up must come down only to come back up again. Diddy will be back.
All right, let me say this. I'm glad you said that. Let me add on to that. Like you said, the people that go up, when they come down, they go back up. That's why you look out for people on the way up. That's why I started my other channel that's on the page, Mecca Audio TV, so that the young kids, the adults, whoever, that got video content that they want to share to the world, I'm going to put it on my channel to get them out there and get them exposed. Because this is about looking out for those as you go up. I know I'm going to blow up. I done went to 122,000. I came home and started with like 100 subscribers when I was in the prison, the same channel. I come home, I'm at 122,000. I don't talk bad about nobody. I don't disrespect nobody, but I give the real because this is a gangster channel.
Gunshots.
All day. Got to give them gunshots because that's what they need.
You're speaking about a brethren of yours who I knew You know, when I was coming up, you know, I went to Truman High School in Co-op City, you know, stayed in the Valley. Gotta give a shout out to Wolf. You know, my
Big
heart
Wolf
goes out
and
to
Little Wolf. You know?
Big Wolf and Little Wolf, the whole Valley posse. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Greg McQueen, aka the Terminator. People don't even know about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rest in peace. You know, all Kelly Thomas, all them people. But I want to tell you, you never fell, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're a special Jew. You one of them Jews that, you know, that is just a pure diamond. You was always up. You never fell.
Mm-hmm.
People always talk about you. Your word is imprinted in a hierarchy of gangsters. You are a gangster's gangster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you a man's man, a gangster's gangster. You know, and the jewels that you drop just reinforces me every day to remember who I am, what I stand for, what I need to do. And every time I feel down, I say, you know what? I pray and I put on Unique.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that means to you, but it's deep like that. I pray, I take a second. I said, man, let me search for the knowledge of the day. Like back in the day, we used to look for the colors of the day. We used to call it out to the mosque to see before we get right.
Mm-hmm.
Before I get right to leave my door, I say my prayers. I listen to Unique, and I say a prayer for the brother you and all the brothers that are listening. But, you know, I got to tell you, you said one thing that was, you know, very ironic. You said you don't understand how something simple could be so complicated. When you got money, like Diddy, that's when things get complicated.
Yeah.
You know, you had.
Biggie said it best, more money, more problems.
More money, more problems. And you know firsthand. You lived the life. You had that type of paper. Look at the problems that come with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know
what it was like. You know what it was like paying a mortgage on 8 different houses where you just get fed up and say, "Let me just buy this joint, so I ain't got to do all this monthly crap." You know what I mean? You know, my people told me, "Oh no, listen." They tell me, "Oh no, you gotta buy the house with a 30-year mortgage." You know what I mean? 30 years to pay for something that I can pay for now. And that's what everybody do it. No, everybody that's broke, they can't afford to pay for it, do it. Get a lawyer the money and get me the house. So I ain't got to sit there every month, got to worry about these problems.
You're not guaranteed those 30 years. So if you got the bread, pay for it, it's yours.
There you go. You know?
And you ain't got to worry about it. And you move on to the next endeavor. But like I said, I ain't going to hold you. There's more people that want to speak. But brother, God bless you, man. All the endeavors, all shout outs to Unique Mecca Audio and the Mecca family. Everybody stand up. And I got to say one thing. Unique. What makes your videos is, you remember like when you used to listen to man, the comedian, what's the brother's name? And he used to do Mudbone, right? Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Richard Pryor until he did Mudbone, but I gotta tell you, it's not a Unique Mecca Audio show until you close it with "I Love a Dog."
You know, hey yo, that's why I can't believe that Papoose and Remy joined, son. You know?
I love a dog.
Yo, you just lift my spirits, man. Hey yo, because I can't stand what I love a dog dude, man. The girl dogging them out, and all they gotta say in their defense is, "But I love a dog." You love a dog.
Someone said that to me yesterday. He said, "But I love a dog." You want to know what I did? I directed it right to your video. I said, "Yo, my man got something. You need to check out Unique Mecca Audio." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look up "I Love a Dog," and he gonna tell you what's wrong with you since you think I'm fretting on you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, man, you living foul, you know? But hey, man, hey, God bless you.
All right, thank you, family.
Keep it trucking. Yes, sir.
You already know. Hey, yo, check, right? We got 5,055 people in the room, and we only got 809 likes. Could we hit the 1,000 likes, please? Can we hit the 1,000 likes? I'm going to play this video, let Jesse read the question from his joint, and then we'll take the calls in between. So if y'all want to call, 917, it's on the screen, 680-9091. Let's get back to old Jesse Weber.
Other update. Prosecutor says this is more similar to the cases where detention was ordered, talking about R. Kelly, Keith Raniere, Larry Ray. Bradford, if you're sitting in that courtroom and you're representing Sean Combs and the prosecution mentions these other people, R. Kelly was charged with sex trafficking and racketeering.
Get them
How do you
likes.
distinguish Sean Combs from those cases?
Well, the funny thing is, and it's not that funny, is that different areas have different issues with bond and how bond packages are done. In the R. Kelly case, I don't think, number one is they came up with $50 million. They didn't have 24-hour security. They didn't have electronic monitor, taking away his cell phones, his computers, etc. They didn't have any of that. So if you want to compare apples to apples, I think, and my opinion, is that the best case scenario is that Abercrombie and Fitch CEO. I keep going back to it. It happened very soon in time. It was in an area that is right next to New York City, which is the Eastern District. He was allowed to surrender. He was given a $10 million bond. The guy still, nobody even knows. If I was in a room with the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, I wouldn't know him from anyone, right? If I'm in a room with Sean Combs, I'm going to recognize him right away. So it's a little bit of a different situation. The CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch can disappear to Morocco. No one's going to recognize the guy.
Have you seen his face? He's got a quite a distinguishable face, but that's a separate kind of issue. But anyway, yeah.
I have. And the common man does not know who the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch is. I would argue that
Good
Sean
point.
Combs is known pretty much worldwide, especially even at this point. And that, I think, lends itself to, really distinguishing him from the rest of these individuals. And we always say, like, hey, money does this or money does that. And it's true. Someone without substance might not be getting a bond on this case. But that's the whole point of bond, is that it shows your commitment to appear in court, to not violate the rules, to do these certain things. So as you have more money, obviously the bond is higher in amount to make that more of a damaging thing. Like, someone worth $100 million, if I put up 50, that's really hurts me, right? It's just like if someone was $100 and they put up 50. So the thing is like, that's the difference between Sean Combs and these other cases, is that his bond package is completely different than what was being offered in those other cases. And the fact, I can't get beyond the fact that he just stuck around. He didn't go anywhere. Not that he could have. I'm sure the feds had their eyes on him 24/7 before they filed charges. But he stuck around. He didn't go anywhere. He informed them of where he was flying, when he was flying, where he was going, when he was going, during that whole period of time. And then when he knows that he's going to be arrested, he flies to New York in preparation. And instead of allowing him to surrender, like they would allow anyone, I mean, he's there to surrender. Instead of allowing him to surrender, which a judge would have looked upon that favorably and said, oh, he surrendered himself, they go to his hotel and they pick him up at 9:00 at night. It was a real, to me, spit in the face. And I think the reason they did that is because they knew that Sean Combs was trying to organize this PR thing and was trying to put on a good show in terms of, hey, listen, mea culpa, I didn't mean anything on this video, and I'm going to rehab, and all these things that are good for his case. They got, I think, frustrated that the perception was starting to sway a little bit. And then that Cassie tape came out and perception kind of went down the toilet, because once you see it on video, it's very difficult to then you see all your friends kind of abandon you. So, it just frustrates me when you got a guy that is willing to do all these things and you still, don't want to agree to a bond.
So So I know we've been keeping you guys for a while. I want to. We're going to take a break. Before we do, I want to get some final thoughts, but I want to give you some updates from court. And Brian, I'll start with you on this. The judge just said, "I suggest both parties put in letters by Monday at noon about what type of communications Mr. Combs may engage in." Monday at noon. So that's interesting to think
He's
about.
postponing it right now
What
till
does he
Monday
mean?
at
He's going to be
noon.
out or he's not going to be
Nah.
out. But his lawyer, Combs'
postpone
lawyer,
till
Tony
Monday.
Rico, said, we have to email for a week to get him a file folder. Then he said his adult children are willing to obey. He's not a lawless person. We spent hours at the MDC. Mr. Combs was writing down what I said. He's not out of control. DOJ is responsible for the MDC. Those phone calls from me all the time, and I hang up. Just your thoughts on what we're hearing here.
I go back to it. I think this judge is really giving serious consideration to allowing him out and trying to figure out a way to do so where the government's concerns are alleviated, to stop communications, to prevent the wrong kind of communications. You know, a lot of the listeners that have asked questions are seeing, you know, justice play out here and what a difference a judge makes. You know, there are a lot of judges I just listened to Bradford's arguments, all brilliant, that would listen to it and say, thank you very much, have a seat, denied. This is one of those judges that listens. This is one of those judges that balances. And what a difference a judge makes. And he could very well, if not today, Monday, make a decision that's favorable to Mr. Combs.
Word.
So, speaking of which, we have another update. Mr. Rico, again, his attorney says he has access to cell phones in the MDC, but not under our conditions. He fights, he kicks, he makes phone calls. This can be addressed. Thank you. Judge says we're going to get a decision out prompt next week.
Told you, next week, baby. Next week, baby.
Yeah, I think that's the smart thing to do. Listen, smart judges don't just make decisions off cuff, right? They go back to their chambers. They think about it. They have very, very smart clerks that know the law, that give them case law to back up their reasoning. And, you know, judges sometimes have gut feelings when they've been on the bench for a long time, and lawyers too. You know, we've been doing this for a long time, and you have a gut feeling what's right and wrong, and then you got to find the case that tells you that you're right. So I think that it's smart. I think that smart judges put out smart orders because they know they may be appealed or they know it's going to be publicly read, and that's just what they do. So I'm not shocked that he didn't make a ruling from the bench. Just as Brian said very early on, he wouldn't be surprised either that, you know, the judge is going to take some time and do a written order, because that's what good judges do. Good judges do written orders. They don't shoot from the hip, and they don't automatically say one thing or the other. They think about it. They sleep on it. And I don't know how many times I've been in a case where I'm feeling like, oh man, this judge I feel like they're ruling against me. And they say, hey, listen, I'm going to get a written order out, you know, by the end of the week. And then they go back, they read the case law again, they find new case law, they find, you know, all kinds of different things. And then they rule in my favor maybe for a completely different reason than was even discussed at that hearing. But that.
Hey, yo, this is crazy, Rock. This is crazy. Man, going through all this to give up $50 million? Did you ever think you would live to see this day where the federal government turned down $50 million? Come on, man.
That's what really differentiates great judges from just guys that are, you know, that have been on the bench for maybe 30 or 40 years, and they're kind of going through the motions, and they know what to deny and what to grant and why to deny it. And they just kind of, you know, they're on autopilot. Like I said, when you get a judge that is fairly new, it's usually very refreshing, their take on certain issues.
I agree. This is a judge that's very refreshing. I think he's really carefully considering both arguments. As you said, right now the latest update is that he wants those letters Monday. We'll make a decision next week. This could possibly be Sean Combs' last weekend behind bars. We will see. But the court has been adjourned. Gentlemen, let me tell you, Brian McMonagle, Bradford Cohen, thank you so much for your brilliant insight, your analysis, your generosity with your time. And let me just give you one last suggestion. Imagine you two teaming up. My gosh, what a power team you two would be together. So let me just leave you guys with
I'm
that.
calling him now.
Yeah, you guys really should. My gosh, it's two
Brian,
brilliant minds.
I have long admired Brian's work, and it's always great to be on with individuals that have been in the trenches, that have actually tried cases, that have been doing this for a long time, because warriors generally think alike, and it's always good to be on with someone like Brian.
That's
High
great.
compliment coming from you, my friend.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. We're going to take a quick break. Elizabeth Milner is coming out of that courtroom. She's going to give us a live update about what she observed of Sean Combs, his family, his attorneys, give us insight into that courtroom. Stay with us here on Law and Crime. We'll be right back right after this.
All right. So that's what that is. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. Let's get into the jail cell real quick. Let's get into the jail cell. Let's get a little music going, because this is how we're going to do it right now at the Mecca. All right? We're going to get a little music going so y'all can understand what's going on. You know? Where we at? The music. All right. Yo, check, right? All right, so this is where we at. If y'all want to call in now, you can call in while they putting the pause on it. You know what I mean? And keep me posted on what's going on. Let's keep this thing moving. Now, could you believe that they turned him down from getting a $50 million bail? Like, where do they do that at? Where they do that? So what happened is, so you understand the outcome of this is, they postponed the rest of the bail hearing until Monday, where they both get a chance to brief. So that means that the judge is thinking about granting Diddy a bail, because he could have just easily said no. You know what I mean? That he wasn't going to give him the bail. Let me get another beat. I'm not really feeling that one. I like this joint right here. Y'all like this beat? Put it in the comments. Y'all like this beat. This Lady Ice right here. All right. We had 5,089,864 likes. Could we get the likes up? Matter of fact, I'm about to tap out. I've been up here long enough, but I just want y'all to really understand that, it's not worth it to get involved in a life of crime. It's not worth it to break the law. That's why I'm sitting here, and that's why I'm letting you know now. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you choose to do it, know to follow the rules. And the rules are, you tell on no one, not even your dead brother. I had a chance to tell on my brother who was murdered and get out of jail and walk free. I refused to do it. It's bad enough I got caught, I got convicted, and my mama got a convicted drug kingpin in her bloodline now. That's nothing to be proud of. But never would I contribute to giving her 2 sons convicted by the federal government for a kingpin charge. So I wear that honorably, not proud of it, but I feel honored that my brother didn't have to succumb to the same foolishness that I did. So all of y'all that say that, I told on this, but I'm not shooting no shots, because y'all know, my Muslim brother that did that. But that's his choice. Only person could judge us is God. That's it, Allah. Only person could judge us. I can't judge you. If you can sleep good at the end of the night after whatever it is that you done, or whatever, then you do that. Then you do you. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't do it. And it's not a part of the code. If you're not going to honor that, don't hit the streets. You know what I mean? And make sure you cop my man Lou Sims' book again. You know what I mean? Cop my man book. Screenshot. or take a picture or just pause the screen and get my man's QR code so you can cop his book. This Lou Sims book. Please subscribe at Mecca Audio TV. Subscribe at Mecca Audio TV. Hit the like button for anybody that's watching it. For the other people that didn't, let's get these likes up. Let's share this joint. Let's be out of here. Been on here long enough. You already know the routine. Cop the book of Rowan Harlem at rowanharlem.com. Great book. Not saying it because I wrote it. You know what I mean? But I'm just letting y'all know what time it is. All right? Now, we've been on here long enough, man. Let's tap out.
Cheers, cheers, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Can of 26, heat back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you can consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block. Did his time, never squealed until the cops Mecca Audio. G's in the 90s. Drop top demon so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spin a couple bands on the dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. Yeah, we horn uptown, Dominican bust down. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to get. Now you trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend it air. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about